Hello everyone. Welcome back to mohanaastrology. Rajshri here. Today's topic is Saturn in the 10th house of your birth chart and how it works for you. Saturn in the 10th house is actually a great position. It can give you name, fame, status, and unimaginable success in your life. But at the same time, it may not give you a very peaceful family life. So let's explore why I am saying this. Now, 10th house represents our karma. It represents the social status that we thrive for in this society. 10th house represents our authorities, boss at work, and it also represents your profession. Now, we almost always confuse 10th house with only profession, but which is not correct. And 10th house represents our overall karma in this lifetime that we have come to do, profession being just a small part of it. In the Kalpurush Kundali or natural chart, Saturn sits in Capricorn in the 10th house. That means 10th house is naturally Saturn's own house. And Saturn is extremely powerful here depending on which sign it is sitting in your own birth chart. Saturn in 10th house can give you enormous amount of name, fame and status, as I mentioned before, but only after sheer hard work. Saturn doesn't give anything very easily. So you have to put in your effort, you have to put in your hard work, and it's only then you are going to reap the benefits of it. With this position, you are inherently hardworking, extremely disciplined, and methodical. You work towards name and status and professional success no matter whichever profession you choose to be in. 10th house is also the house where Sun gets its directional strength or it becomes Digbali. Now, Sun represents the authorities, the boss, and Saturn represents the working class people. We all know that Saturn is the first-rate enemy of Sun. So when Saturn sits in the 10th house, it inherently gives you this inclination to challenge the authority. You do not really get along well with the boss. You are rather a cutout to be your own boss. You rather want to be the authority figure yourself. It is best if Saturn sits in 10th house in its own signs like Capricorn or Aquarius, or in its exalted sign Libra. Now the result of Saturn sitting in Capricorn and Saturn sitting in Aquarius are very different. When it sits in Capricorn, it shows the materialistic side of the person, like you work hard and really hard towards achieving materialistic success in this life. When it sits in Aquarius, it shows spiritual side. It shows the social welfare side of yours. It also shows your scientific bent of mind. When Saturn sits in its exalted sign of Libra in the 10th house, it can make you a highly diplomatic person. You are very fair towards others, and your judgment is also extremely fair. So a profession where sheer judgment, clear judgment and diplomacy is required, that suits you a lot. Now, Taurus, Gemini and Virgo are friendly signs of Saturn. When Saturn sits in Taurus, your main focus becomes gaining financial security in life. When Saturn sits in Gemini, it gives you good problem-solving skills and your mind is also very agile. In case of Virgo, Saturn makes you a strategic planner. Now, Sagittarius and Pisces, these two signs are neutral to Saturn. When Saturn sits in Sagittarius, it can make you a teacher, a religious teacher. It can give you some insights into tradition, culture. And when it sits in Pisces, It can give you a spiritual bend of mind. You can be a spiritual guide to others as well. When Saturn is in Pisces, it can also make you a very good renowned artist. Now, when Saturn sits in 10th house in the sign of Aries or Cancer or Leo or Scorpio, then it becomes a difficult placement for Saturn. Why? Because these are inimical signs for Saturn. Saturn do not get along well with the lords of these signs. So when it's placed in Aries, it's anyway becomes debilitated. So when Saturn is debilitated, although it's placed in the 10th house, it actually cannot bring out all the potential of the house to the fullest. So all the qualities, good qualities of Saturn do not manifest properly when it's placed in Aries. So the impulsiveness of Mars can actually create hindrance for you in your workplace. Similarly, when Saturn is in Cancer, you become so emotional and slightly thin-skinned that it becomes very difficult for you to get along with your authorities or the boss. Whatever your boss says, you really take it to the heart and feel offended about it. And similarly, when Saturn is in Leo, it's the sun's own sign. So obviously, and Saturn and sun do not get along well at all. So when it's in Leo, it can give you so high ego that your ego becomes the hindrance for your own professional success. Next, if it's in Scorpio, as per Scorpio's nature, it can make you a slightly manipulative and secretive at work, which may not be very helpful for your professional progress. If Saturn is not well placed in the 10th house, then it can also show that your career will take off with a little bit of delay. Now, Saturn in the 10th house can cause some sort of clash or conflict with your father, like it does with your boss. And it can be the conflict of ideology, or it can also happen that your father wasn't present for you as much as you wanted, or he was completely absent in your life. Now I'm coming to the aspects of Saturn. Now, when Saturn sits in 10th house, it aspects 12th house from there. When Saturn aspects your 12th house, it can destroy your hidden enemies. But at the same time, it can also cause you some sleepless nights. There can be stress, mental anxiety. You may have trouble in settling abroad or working abroad. Saturn's aspect here can also cause trouble in happiness or closeness in your conjugal life. Your spiritual life can also suffer as well. From 10th house, Saturn also aspects the 4th house, right opposite to it. So when Saturn aspects 4th house with its 7th aspect, what happens is it creates some sort of differences and trouble with your family life, with your mother, with your motherland. So what can happen is you may stay away from your place of birth. There can be situations where your childhood has been slightly unhappy. It can also happen that your mother had been very strict with you, or you did not get along well with your mother. So many things can happen related to family, mother and motherland when Saturn aspects the 4th house. From 10th house, Saturn aspects the 7th house of your marriage and spouse. So when Saturn aspects your 7th house, it can give you a long-lasting marriage. But it can also make the marriage very cold, duty-bound and full of responsibility. The marriage is not the fun kind of marriage or easygoing marriage for you. And since work is priority for you, name, fame, status, work, professional success, all these are priority for you, the happiness of seventh house or marriage slips down your priority list. In some cases, it can happen that you do not even feel like marrying when Saturn is posited in the 10th house of yours. So what we can see is from 10th house, Saturn is casting its aspect at the 12th house, which is your marital happiness or conjugal happiness, conjugal life. It's aspecting your 4th house, which is the house of your home, mother, and family cordiality. And it's also aspecting your 7th house, which is the house of your marriage and spouse. So all in all, from if it is situated, if it is placed in your 10th house, it can give you immense professional success. There is no doubt about it, provided you are willing to put in enough work. But at the same time, it can hamper your personal life to great extent. There will always be unhappiness related to your home, mother, spouse, and some sort of emptiness persists there. But that's what happens with Saturn. When it gives you something, it demands full attention, it demands full dedication and devotion towards that. So in this life, your aim, your job is to devote your life towards your professional success, towards attaining your status. Now that's all, friends, from my side about Saturn in the 10th house. If you like this video, please do share, like, and subscribe to my channel, which is very important for me, and spread the word about mohanaastrology to everyone. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. May God bless us all.